Hey, welcome back. Justin Hogg from Right Source in the same location, same shirt. Today we're going to talk about a bit more about budgeting, mostly about putting together what's called an incremental budget, which is for those who haven't done a budget before or want to have a crack at it doing themselves before they talk to their accountant. This is probably the easiest first step to start with. Okay, so to do an incremental budget, what you need to start with is 12 months of actuals. So what that means is 12 months of financial results, of profit and loss that you've got for the last year. And I like to do it month by month because it gives you a flow of what's happening, and especially if your business is seasonal, it just helps you understand what's going on. Now, for those of you who are just starting a business, or you might have only been operating for 6 months, you could go and get someone else's 12 months operating as well and use that as a start. So if you know someone else who's in business who is happy to share their financials with you, you can get that from them. So once you've got that 12 months, we'll dive onto the computer and I'll show you how to take that 12-month snapshot of what has happened and turn that into a budget. One thing I forgot before we dive into the spreadsheeting fun is if you'd like a copy of the template we're going to use, click the link below, type in incremental budgeting, or if you can't remember that, just put the code word pizza and I will send you a copy of the template, and then that way we can work through it together. Cool, let's get into it. So we've downloaded our actuals for 12 months. We've put them in the spreadsheet. Again, if you want a copy of the template, I can send that through to you. So this is 12 months worth of results for a demo company. It also has a total for the year. What we'll actually add on here at the end is we'll keep the results for the year because we're going to change this new year to make a new budget year, and so that will actually give us a reference point. And we'll also have a column here, which I always think is good to have, which is notes. So just so if you want to explain what you're doing to yourself, so when you look back at this in 6 months' time, you understand what you've done, you've got it there. So let's do it. Incremental budgeting, here we go. So the income for the business, you've got consulting, product delivery, sales, and it gives you a flow of what's happened over the year. So obviously consulting is relatively flat. So what you do with incremental budgeting is you look at each line item and work out what happened last year and is that going to happen in the year that's coming up. So the business is still doing consulting. Look, it averages around about 3,000, a bit under 3,000 a month. We think it's going to go a little quieter on consulting, so we'll just make that 2,500 a month. Like that. And we're off. So that's the first one. Product delivery, a new product that's come online. You started selling it in February, you're going to do it all year now. There was a bit of a spike you can see in June. Is it consistent over the year? Does it have peaks and troughs? This is where you can go, okay, well, product delivery, we're going to aim to do about 4,000 bucks a month. So that's cool, that's our baseline, that's what we see as our target. We're going to have some sales happening December, so we're going to have a bit of a spike there. January's going to be flat, everyone's going to be on holidays, not doing anything. And again, the product we sell sells well in June, so we're going to have a little bit of spike there. So that way we've made it a little bit seasonal. Sales, which is our core business, there's a little bit of a dip in January and February, but really we actually want that to be consistent because we don't think that's a seasonal product. So what we're going to target this year is this amount. So 80,000 for the year, month on month. Now that gives us a figure that we can then compare to our previous year. So we're targeting a slight increase in our revenue. That seems reasonable. Now we move on to our expenses. Now, again, we look at each of our expenses and go, well, what have we done last year? Are we changing our plans at all this year? And does that change anything? Now, advertising, we did some in July because we might have kicked off then. We're not going to do that this year. Instead, we're going to focus on the Christmas period. We're going to do a campaign in November to try and get things happening in December. The advertising in January was useless this year, so we're not going to do that. And what we are going to do is actually put a bit of a baseline. We've got a social media contractor we think's pretty good, so we're going to use 500 bucks worth of them for a couple of points during the year just to see if we get a bit more traction in the market. And we'll make June, make that 2,000 as well. End of financial year. Bank fees, well, they're about 120 bucks a month. They've gone up a bit because we're now doing some more online sales, so we'll actually bump that up for the year. So this is all the incremental budgeting is. It's just going through each line item, going, has that changed? What's changed? Asking the question. Cleaning, we're happy to leave that as it is. Computers and IT, we had, so this 24,000 in July, there was obviously a large capital process. What we've actually put is we're going to go new laptops. So I'll put a little note in here in December. So we're going to issue some new laptops, otherwise it'll remain pretty constant. So we'll just go $1,000 a month. Chuck that across. And then everyone's getting a new laptop in December. So I'll put another 20,000 in there for that. Consulting and accounting, we've got, it's a bit ebbs and flows. We've got a bit of work that happened there where there was a business project. Now, when you have expenses that ebb and flow during the year, you're not sure, well, you might have something, you might not. You can do one or two things. You try and guess when you'd want to do it, or you can just say, look, we spent 14,000 last year. We want to try and spend about the same. So let's do that and just put it in across the whole year. And that will at least allow you to track whether you're going to hit your full year figure. So maybe a little bit less, so you're going to 12,000. Entertainment. Now, I've been changing all the numbers. You can leave that the same. So you can say, entertainment, we want to spend exactly the same as last year. That's our benchmark. We don't want to change that. Same with insurance. We want to spend the same on insurance. So we won't change it. That's fine. It's up to you what you do and do want to change. You might want to say, well, lighting and power, we have now got a few more people in, so we'll bump that up a bit. And really, it's getting to figures that make sense to you. Off expenses, I'm not going to change that. Well, actually, that's interesting. That's actually gone up during the year. So you can see that already. That started at 1,000, it's now at 3. So is that because there's been a change, or have people been starting to buy expensive pens, or buying biscuits with the stationery order, or something like that? So again, this allows you to set some targets for the business. So looking at off expenses, you might just say, look, we want to spend no more than $2,000 a month. That's our target. We'll see how that goes. Rent, we're fine. We're actually going to move into a new premises, so let's do that. New premises in February. So that's going to bump up the rent from 4,000 to 6,000 because we want to have space to grow the business. Subscriptions, again, it's about $2,000 a month. The whole idea of subscriptions is to smooth it over the year, so we'll keep that smooth. Telephone and internet. Training, we like to keep people trained. We're just going to leave that the same. Same with travel. Wages, we had a little bit of a dip in January where we had some staff leave. They came back, we replaced them in February. What we actually want to do, because we're growing in March, we do actually want to step that up. So what we're going to say is that currently we're trending around 55. Actually, we'll make that 57. That's the trend we want to have until after we move into our new premises. Then we're going to hire some new people, which is the whole point of the new premises, which is going to put up our wages bill. And we also want to do a bonus in Christmas. So we'll actually chuck that in December. Everyone we'll put $10,000 away to a Christmas bonus as well. And that's it. There's your budget. There's your first cut. So you've used last year's actuals. You've then basically gone through last year's actuals and said, well, how is this new year different to last year? And adjusted them. And that now gives you a picture. Well, you're going to make 30,000 this year compared to what we saved down as prior year. We might just put that as a total. You made 53,000 last year. So now you can go, okay, well, this is good because it goes, well, this is what I thought was going to happen. Now, it allows you to critically assess, is 30,000 profit, is that acceptable for what you're wanting to do for that year's worth of work? Or do you really want to drive more profit? In which case, do you need to spend a bit more on advertising? Or does your sales targets you got for your sales guys need to be a bit higher? You can start playing with that. And once that's done, it's locked down, you've now got your map for your business plan for the next year. That's it, we've done it. You now have a budget. It's crazy, it was that easy. So what you can do with that, you can keep that in the spreadsheet, or you can load it into your accounting package. Usually that isn't too hard, or give it to your accountant, which will bamboozle them because they won't be used to seeing you having done a budget all by yourself. Chuck it in your accounting package. The important part of this budgeting process is now to use that budget, to actually use it to see how you're going each month. So we can do that by either putting it, again, getting your actuals and putting it in Excel if you like spreadsheets, or by having it in your accounting package, you should be able to now get a report out each month that tells you how your actual results go against your budget. Now I'll take you through an example of that now on a spreadsheet, and we can talk through the thinking that allows you to do and the information and the power that gives you in terms of running your business. So off we go. Now that you've got a budget, what we want to show you is how you use it. Like let's use this budget in anger and see what it brings, because that's when you start to get the value out of it. So we've got an example company here where we've done a budget previously, which is that column, and now we've got actual results to compare about that budget. And let's just have a look. So basically, if this was the monthly result and you're getting this report, you go, okay, actual budget, what is it telling me? Okay, where you want to look is where there's a variance. So when the actual and the budget hasn't equaled. Now, it doesn't matter whether it's above or below budget. So a lot of people say, oh, you can't spend more than the budget. I don't align to that. What you want to spend is what the business needs. What the budget tells you is that need more or less than what you thought it was. So we can look here, now we'll start with income. Consulting is a little low, sales is higher than budgeted. Now, what that asks you is, well, why? So as the CEO or the owner running the business, why has that happened? So sales might be, well, you know, we did a campaign 2 months ago, and that actually finally took, and people started seeing us as the preferred supplier. So that's lifted our sales. Whatever it is, that gives you a bit of understanding of what's going on. When you then look at your expenses, so advertising is up, so that advertising that you're spending is what's driving those sales. So you're starting to say, well, okay, we spent $500 more on advertising and we've got 15,000 more in sales. Well, let's keep doing that. And that allows you to adjust your course as well. The other things that in the other variances, then just you go through the variances. Computers was down, okay, well 15,000. Well, now you go back to your budget sheet and go, why were we spending $15,000? Oh, because we had to get some new laptops to allow our staff to perform more effectively, and that's what we're planning to do. We didn't do that, we forgot. Well, now that allows you to go back and correct that, or let's get on to that. Insurance, why is there no insurance in there? It's actual zero. Well, that's a concern. It allows you to go and ask the question, say, has someone forgot to pay our insurance? Because you want to make sure that's done now, rather than in 6 months' time when you've got a claim and they say, oh, sorry, we can't pay because you haven't paid your insurance premium. Legal expenses, well, hopefully you know what they're for. Again, it's just getting you to spend some time going, what's going on in the business and have I missed anything? Subscriptions are a little high. Is there some more packages you signed on to? Does that feed into your advertising? Or is there something else you're doing? Or is there just something else you didn't expect? And the last one there is wages is a little high. So have you put more staff on? Or has there been some more overtime? What's going on? So basically, in going through that quick snapshot of your actuals and your budget, it's taken a couple of minutes. But all of a sudden, it's given you a couple of really key insights into your business. You know, your sales have increased because of some social marketing. You've got some IT stuff to take care of to help your efficiency of your staff, which you haven't done. Someone's got to pay that insurance to make sure the business is protected. And we've paid a little bit more to our staff. Are we running efficiently, or are we overstaffing ourselves? There's some really good questions that you can go back, look at your business, ask the people working in your business, understand what's going on, and either readjust if it needs to be readjusted and set your business on the right course, or even come back to your business plan and adjust, well, we can now achieve more. We're going to either get to our goal sooner, or we're even going to change our goal. And that's basically, in a snapshot, what you should be using your budget for. All that work, all that planning about putting numbers on a page, that's not the value. This is the value. Having a signpost to understand each month where you're going. Okay, so that's it. So now we've done a budget, we've seen how we use it, we can see the information and the understanding that gives you of your business and being able to put yourself back on course. So Again, a reminder, if you'd like a copy of the template, click the link below, type in incremental budgeting and I can send that through to you, or the special code word pizza. And also don't forget to subscribe, because there's a lot more budgeting and interesting accounting videos coming up in the next couple of weeks that will add value to you and your business.